So I got another video request, and quite honestly I enjoy doing these things because it's fun to see what people want me to talk about, and it's just fun to explore the subjects. But before I get into it, I had somebody comment saying that the audio seemed kind of off or a bit weird on the last video, and I listened to it and it sounded kind of strange, like blown out or something like that. I was using a mic for it. I'm not using a mic in this video, so I'm going to see if it's different at all. So let's get into it. The video request says, "Hi Chris, what do you think about people that want to brag about their life, whether in person or on social media?" Yeah, this is a fun one because this channel, I'm all about helping people to see everything for exactly what it is. Because unfortunately, a lot of people were raised to see things for what they're not. And when I say that, what I'm referring to is, if you were raised in survival, and you were raised with, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, you were raised without healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation, the likelihood that you had somebody in your life that projected their insecurities onto you, and because you were so little and unaware of what was actually going on, you took it on as your own. Maybe, for instance, they led you to believe that you were unworthy because that's how they felt about themselves, and because they lacked healthy boundaries, they just projected their stuff onto you. And because you also learned to lack healthy boundaries, you took it on as your own, so you basically learned that you were unworthy. It's very important to understand that if you don't learn to see everything for what it is, you are going to be both distracted and confused by what it's not. If you have healthy boundaries and somebody comes to you and they try to project their own feelings of unworthiness and insecurity onto you, you're not going to get confused and start walking around life and being like, shit, I'm fucking unworthy because this person told me I am. No. You're going to have the boundaries in place, and you're going to be like, that's their shit, not mine. I'm not going to take it on. I'm not going to allow myself to be a screen for their fucking vomit, their fucking projections. No, I'm just going to go on with my life and live my life because I have healthy boundaries. I see them for exactly what they are, somebody lacking healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. It's not going to affect me. That's literally the difference. Now, with that, seeing this kind of a situation, I'll read it again. "Hi Chris, what do you think about people that want to brag about their life, whether in person or on social media?" I think that to see it for what it is, you would have to understand that this has to do with somebody learning that their sense of self-worth is tied to the external. Many people learn that their sense of self-worth is tied to the external. What does that mean? Well, that means that in childhood, whoever raised them taught them that their self-worth is tied to achievements out there. The healthy way of raising somebody in terms of self-worth is intrinsic. It is internal. It is the parent teaching the child that they are worthy as they are. And then over time, but still early on, the parent teaches the child to do that for themselves. In an unhealthy, survival-based childhood with fight, flight, freeze, fawn, lacking in healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation, the child was taught that they are only worthy if externally X, Y, and Z happens. If they are only worthy if they marry that person. They're only worthy if they get into that Ivy League university. They're only worthy if they get something out there. That's the only way that they will be worthy. Now let's look at it even deeper. Self-worth also has to do with a person merely being seen, being acknowledged. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. They didn't learn a healthy sense of that in childhood. They learned to tie their worth to the external. They learned that they are only worthy if X, Y, and Z happens, and it has to be out there. They're only worthy if they get a 4.0 GPA at the best fucking Ivy League university on the face of this planet. You know, it's fascinating because the people that raised them probably had these bogus fucking ideas for them set up that they didn't even agree to, so here they are in this life with all of this pressure and expectation that was set upon them at a time in their life when they were so fucking psychologically underdeveloped that, they couldn't even consent to that. So essentially, they learned, emphasis on the pause there, by the way, the audacity that many parents have to inlay this pressure and expectation that the child does not consent to at such an early age is fucking mind-blowing. And then to totally mess up your child with this belief that they will only be worthy if they achieve something out there. XYZ, Ivy League University, 4.0, like, let me make this very clear. They will not be seen. They will not be acknowledged. The parent likely does not give a fuck about how they're doing. They are a narcissistic extension of their parent. I know that I've been making videos on narcissism and narcissistic extensions lately, but this is the very reality. People that brag about their lives, about their achievements, what they lack, that a lot of people do not see, is intrinsic, internalized self-worth that their parents gave them, and then their parents taught them to give themselves from a very early age. No, they learned, which is why they have the energy of, ooh, look at me, look at me, look at me, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, because that's the only way that they know how to be seen, the only way that they know how to be acknowledged. And actually, when you look at this for what it is, which I am laying it out for you, it's fascinating, because it shows you that they did not get healthy self-esteem. They did not get a healthy sense of self-worth from a very early age. No, their sense of self-worth was completely fucked out of them. Like, you know, their parents were like, your worth is only tied to achievements and what it is that you do. What they didn't get from an early age was, you're worthy as you are. You're beautiful. Do what you do for the enjoyment of it, because that's what matters. Your happiness is what matters. I love you as you are. You're worthy as you are. No, people that brag about their lives and about their achievements, they didn't get that. People that do these things because they feel like they need to for attention, excessively, this is how they learned to be seen by their parents. They, in other words, didn't exist. Their parents taught them that the only way that they fucking mattered, there was no other way. The only way that they fucking mattered was if they achieved something out there, and it usually was something fucking ridiculous. But why? And then, of course, they end up doing this to their children if they so choose to have children. Because the parent themselves is insecure, so they end up building their child into this narcissistic extension of, you know, like a trophy child. Hey, look what my child is doing. My child is better than yours. Black or white thinking. It's fucked up, but it's the reality of it. If you see somebody out there on social media bragging about their life, I understand if you feel intimidated by it and maybe you feel like you're not good enough, but see it for what it is. People that brag about their lives on social medias, on social media, that's the only way that they learned to be seen. And let me also make it very clear, these same individuals are deeply fucking insecure. They are fucking broken on the inside. When they look on the inside, there's almost nothing there, and so then they look to the outside. Well, I have to do all these things to fill this void of nothingness inside of me because my parent or whoever the fuck raised me taught me that I only exist, I only matter if I achieve X, Y, Z out there. My self-worth is tied to the external. So I have to fucking exhaust myself and look for attention because I don't validate myself, I don't approve of myself. My sense of self is literally dependent on your validation, your approval, your acceptance, your check mark, your stamp. That's what it is. See it for what it is. You'll be intimidated by it. You'll feel like you're not good enough because other people compare themselves to you, or you compare yourself to other people, or other people compare other people to you. It doesn't matter what it is, it's triangulation. If you don't see it for what it is, you'll be distracted and confused by what it's not. These individuals are insecure because they were raised by people that are insecure, that develop them into narcissistic extensions of themselves, where it's essentially like, hey, you're only worthy if you achieve XYZ out there. Otherwise, you don't fucking matter. You don't exist. This is the formula to get my love, even though my love is fucking broken. Success, achievements, 4.0 GPAs, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. People that don't brag about their lives, they tend to have a healthy sense of self. They tend to have a healthy sense of self-worth. They have healthy or healthier boundaries because they don't need to prove themselves to feel like they exist. People that brag about themselves in their lives, they do feel the need to prove themselves to feel like they exist, because otherwise they don't feel like they exist. They feel non-existent. And that's both fucking painful and terrifying. If you were raised with healthy self-worth, which is boundaried, because it's boundaried in here, it doesn't depend on anything out there, no achievements, it doesn't matter what you do. What you do becomes a matter of doing for enjoyment, not a matter of a means to an end. People that brag about their lives on social media, like excessively for attention, they do things, not usually for the enjoyment of them, but to get things. They achieve things to get attention. Hey, look at me, look at all these cool fucking things that I'm doing, even though I'm fucking exhausted and I don't even enjoy my fucking life. I'm just trying to be seen. I need the fucking attention. Otherwise, I don't matter. Otherwise, I don't exist. See it for what it is. And let me just make it very clear, too, that social media has kind of become a hotspot for all this kind of stuff because it's so easy to portray your life in a very specific way. It is. It's easy to post pictures of how apparently good your life is going, but avoid posting pictures of the shit show that your life is. People that are healthier, people that have healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation, people with a healthy intrinsic sense of self-worth, they don't feel the need to display all of this stuff. Actually, they prefer to stay boundaried because they understand that, and when I say they prefer to stay boundaried, what I mean is they prefer to not flash all of their achievements because they don't need the external validation, because that's not the way that they live. This is the difference, literally, between seeking external validation because you lack healthy boundaries and you feel like you need to be validated by everyone just to feel like you matter and exist, and actually having healthy boundaries. Validating and approving and accepting of yourself because your self-worth is intrinsic. This is the difference between people who have intrinsic self-worth and people who lack intrinsic self-worth, who learn that their worth is only real if they achieve something out there. And the fascinating thing about that whole game is that it honestly never becomes enough out there, because what usually happens, somebody usually invalidates them and tells them that it's not good enough, and so the bar just keeps rising more and more. There ends up being no fucking ceiling. They exhaust themselves and burn themselves the fuck out. That is what's happening here. See it for what it is, otherwise you will be distracted and confused by what it's not.